Good afternoon.
Hi, thanks for joining us, Tom. Hi, Doug. How are you? Happy New Year.
Patty, all great. Happy New Year to everyone.
So we have Tom joining us today. I'm really excited. He's a very busy man. He took some time out of his schedule to chat with us, Doug. You want to give him a little intro?
So Tom Schoeller, I met over the years in a couple of different capacities, probably similar capacity, but maybe a couple of different organizations. I was certainly thrilled when he aligned with Howard Hanna, a company I long expected. And Tom walked into my office one day and wanted to chat about Hanna, and kind of the rest is history. And we're going to let Tom tell that story. He's since the involvement with Hanna, Tom's just been an incredible, invaluable resource support, and certainly has aided our company in the growth and recognition and brand expansion that we've enjoyed. So, Tom, it's all you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very kind of you to say, and it's really been a pleasure to be on this journey with you all. My background is in the real estate franchising since the late 90s. In 1998, I joined a real estate franchisor company doing basically franchise development work, and I learned the business there. I spent time with a number of different brands, some of them which are familiar, Century 21, Coldwell Banker, ERA. There's a couple others now that are all a part of the same conglomerate. And, learned a lot about the business while I was there, but it is a big Wall Street owned company. It's a publicly traded company. And, there were some things that I really liked about it and some things that I didn't. And fast forward from 1998 to 2012 and all that time in the real estate business, doing consulting for mergers, acquisitions, and franchising for a number of different companies over that time. But I landed with Howard Hanna Company, and it was a company that I had known about from being in the industry for that amount of time, but was really, really surprised, frankly, as a New Jersey and Eastern PA guy, to learn about this company that was just pretty much on the other side of the state, but had all these great programs and agent tools for development that, from my perspective, were on a par or better than anything that I had ever seen in the industry. So was really just thrilled to have the opportunity to join up with them on their mission to align themselves with great family-owned real estate brokerage businesses all around the Northeast, the Midwest, and the Mid-Atlantic part of our country. And they're just been a great company to be a part of their growth, and certainly getting into the Lehigh Valley, being from the area, had long been a goal of mine once I joined Howard Hanna. And frankly, I'll keep it to a short story, but Doug Frederick was right at the top of the list. In fact, one of the first phone calls that I made after I joined Howard Hanna, because the Frederick Group was, from my viewpoint, very similar to Howard Hanna in that they were full service, very agent centric company, and had plans to grow. I had known, Doug, as he mentioned, for a number of years, and had actually called on his dad years before Doug bought the business. When was that, Doug?
2006.
2006. So for some years before that, I had spoken to Doug's dad, and the Fredericks are just a family that loves the business, loves agents and working with them, and the Hannas were just cut from the same cloth. The whole Hanna family, the part that's involved in the real estate business anyway, is just so intimately involved in the real estate business every day. It's just a part of their lives, and they put agents at the top of everything that they think about. All the programs that they develop and invest in are all with agent success in mind. So it's been a great marriage for me personally, and professionally.
So one word that you kept saying over and over again, and what attracted me too was it's family. They're a family business. Doug's a family business. They care about their agent. They give them value, and it's all about making them successful.
Absolutely. It's kind of like, the best of both worlds. I think that I found when, some of the bigger companies, I mentioned that one of my former groups that I worked with was publicly traded. And, while that may have some advantage for the stockholders and sometimes, it can work the other way for agents because, they're just really focused on numbers and not so focused on people. And when I got to Hannah, it was all about the people. All the decisions are driven by people. Obviously, they want to be a profitable business and around for the long term, and so they do make decisions based upon both pieces, remaining profitable, but looking at how we can make agents more productive, more profitable, taking agents that are either new in the business or maybe they've been in the business for a while, a few years, 5 years, 10 years, and take them to the next level in their careers. So that's a really important part of it. And when you can see the results from, somebody who's just at a sticking point in their career, maybe it's an agent who's been selling 10 or 20 houses a year for a while, and that's good, but they'd really like to be, at that next level of production. To help them get there is something that the Hannahs are really focused on, and I know that's important to the Frederick Group as well.
So, Tom, something that you shared with me your thoughts about the organization and the tools that they had and the structure and so forth. But I think what really fell short was that now that I've been affiliated with the Hannahs, I really don't feel like I'm in a franchise. I had that experience 25 years ago with a different franchise, but I really, to me, it's more like the same message I give my children is that you go to school, you go to college because you learn better ways of thinking. And to me, that's what the Hannahs have done for me is they've provided me complete freedom. And by the model that they have, it allows me to find better ways of thinking. And that's kind of piggybacked by you can tell their objective is not to put as many franchises in any location that they can. Their objective is to either be the best, highest market share in a location, or select from the best, highest market share broker to align with. So can you tell us anything about the behind the scenes discussions that relate to that, and how that relates to agent development as well, in terms of kind of setting the model and allowing agents to be the best that they can be in their respective markets?
Sure. Yeah, no, those are great points. I think one of the things that really attracted me to the Hannahs was their philosophy and approach to the franchising side of the business was, we don't have a need, because it's a privately family-owned business. We don't have a need to grow at any sort of pace. They have aggressive goals, as do most successful companies, but they don't have a quota per se, like we've run, like I've experienced in other companies where they have salespeople who are incentivized to add as many franchises as they possibly can in a given year, where they may not be quite as concerned with the quality of the operator of the franchise and the agents that are a part of their team. Rather, their goal is to, align with companies that are like-minded, that are focused on growing their businesses, supporting their agents, and being a real full-service opportunity, but yet can be very competitive as far as the full package of what they offer for their agents. So it was really a great refreshing change for me to join a company that was more focused on quality rather than quantity of offices. And I think the growth that comes from doing that and staying focused on the high quality partners is has been a really important attribute that's driven us to the success that we've had. We've actually tripled the size of the company um, in the last 7 years. Now it's 8 years that I've been there, which is really some staggering growth. If you look at the industry, there's only a handful of companies that are even in the conversation when you talk about increasing the numbers by that percentage. So yeah, proud to be a part of them with that. They actually wanted the company. The other part of your question about how it functions, or your comment, not like a franchise. Interesting story. When I started with them, they actually used to refer to the division as the franchise division, not the franchise division, even though we were a formal franchise company, because for so many years, the Hannas in the markets that they were in had competed against franchised companies and found a very inconsistent um, experience when dealing with those, co-broke companies. There were some with certain brands that were, good quality, and then there were some that were not as good, to say it politely. And they did not want to be associated with that sort of mindset in the industry. So they wanted that point of differentiation to call it a franchise. Eventually, we've sort of converted the vernacular around it, and it is a franchise from a legal standpoint. But we like for our agents and for our management team of all of our offices to feel like a part of the whole same company. So when we have company events, agent recognition events, which obviously this last year have been put on hold, but in the normal times when we do, it's very much inclusive. So we have a great amount of participation from all of our offices, wherever they are, whether they're part of a franchise with independent leadership, like in your market, or whether they're part of our company-owned operation. It's very much the same experience.
So what is your most favorite thing that you like about Howard Hanna, hands down?
Uh,
A lot of them, but your most favorite.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to love about the company. I think it has to start with the people, but I would say from my perspective, as uh, being responsible for growth, is the value proposition that they have for the agents is I feel far greater than what an agent can get anywhere else. And so, they're big enough to offer all of these incredible agent tools, whether it be through marketing or technology or combining, marrying those two up, which is a huge part of the business now, as we all know. But still maintaining that sort of family feeling, where there is, access to, Mr. Hanna is about to turn 101 years old next month. He's the man who founded the company. He has um, uh, the third Howard Hanna the third. They call him Hottie. He's the chairman of the company. He's very involved, hands on. Mr. Hanna's grandson. He's Howard Hanna the fourth. They call him Hobie Hanna. He is president of real estate brokerage for the company, and he is very much hands on. And then Helen Hanna, who is our CEO, Helen Hanna Casey, is the daughter of the founder. She remains extremely active and involved in the business, and many other family members that I work with and just have ready access to. That's not the case with companies, in most cases, as large as Howard Hanna has grown to become. It is the largest family-owned real estate brokerage business in the country, which is staggering to me when you consider that we're really only in 10 or 11 states here in this region of the country. And that's comparing us to all the companies nationwide.
So there's some family history there going on with the Hannas. That's pretty impressive.
Very impressive. Yeah, the third generation is very integrated in the management team. Not all of them, but the ones that have chosen to be in the business have they've also all cut their teeth listing and selling property, just like every agent that starts in the business. Nobody was given a position because they're part of the family. So, they're big believers in learning the business from the inside out. Everybody has to start at the bottom, no matter if you're part of the family, through birth, or if you become a part of the family, like I did, not just by joining the company.
Good,
So yeah, you mentioned the growth and it's I mean I always love the humbleness of the organization. How did it happen? Well, maybe by getting involved with the biggest real estate company in the state of New York and the biggest real estate company in North and South Carolina. Most recently Rand Real Estate, just phenomenal. Like our floodgates of referrals opened up the doors when with this growth going east, and it's all a great part of a strategic. But tell us about some of these larger organizations that just come in with they're already number one market share in their state, but they're choosing to align with the Howard Hanna brand.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just those like-minded companies that have the family values and value integrity. It's funny when we meet with a company about an acquisition, very often the Hannas are involved. Right from the early stages of the conversation, they want to talk about what's the culture like. What are the mission and vision statements of those companies, and those are the things that they really value, is that there's people who are like the Hannas, give back to the community, people that really care about their agents, giving them freedom to provide input on what would make them and the company more successful. There's lots of those similarities that they look for. The numbers come much later, and frankly, the numbers take care of themselves. It's not about in former places that I was aligned with, is really just a bottom line kind of a business. And again, with I feel like it's probably I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's really just all about the people. It's really about the agents, and how can everybody build their career with us better. The Rand Realty is just a wonderful, also family-owned business in the greater New York City area. They've got offices in Westchester and Rockland counties, a number of other counties in New York and in northern New Jersey. A lot of expansion that's been going on. We just recently announced a merger with a new company in Englewood Cliffs called Plucker Real Estate. Great family company that's been around a long time. And so that was a great expansion for us to the east. In the south, Doug, you touched on North South Carolina, Allen Tate Company, who we merged with 2 years ago now. Just a wonderful company that's been number one in the Carolinas for years. The expansion up into upstate New York with Realty USA and Nothnagel. Really some great family-owned and run companies. I didn't mention William E. Wood. That's how we got into Virginia Beach and that section of the country. Just some really, really wonderful family-owned companies who've been around for decades, that just felt like we're a good partner for them.
Yeah, and it's impossible to mention all the smaller companies that have joined as well. The list is so long, but I know that everybody's always delighted to join, and we get to meet each other at the free convention that we have every other year, and one coming up this year. So we all always look forward. Let's boil it down. We don't have a whole lot of time left. Let's boil it down to the individual agent, because that's how we, that's how we all get from day to day and year to year is the success of the individual agent. So what do you see from that perspective? I know you don't interact quite as much on that level, but what do you hear agents say about the benefits and what they enjoy and what's their takeaway from their affiliation with the Howard Hand organization.
Yeah, I mean, agents love the support, love access to the management team in the offices. The agent productivity tools, which have really been, I want to say, the last 3 or 4 years, we've added some really incredible tools. And I know we're short on time, but Real Scout and Buy Side, I could name a bunch of them. It may or may not mean anything to people that might watch this, but it's just really tools that are completely focused on how can the agent reach their goals, and we have the ability to with our management team meet with agents individually and just help them stay accountable to the activity that they need to participate in to generate the amount of business that they're looking to do. And the tools, like I've mentioned, are second to none in our industry, and that's what really helps agents build their career, and why they join and why they stay.
So I just want to touch base on training. Wendy does some awesome training for newer agents. Do you want to just talk about that a little bit? I think because I attended it last year through the pandemic, and I was just blown away by it.
Yeah, we had been prior to the COVID shutdowns. We had been moving more of our training online, but the amount of training that's being done, through webinars has really exploded. Obviously, because we haven't been doing the in-person training. But Wendy does a fantastic job. And am I correct to understand that she's going to be joining you on one of these sessions coming soon?
Yeah, she's going to be on Thursday. I really wanted to talk about like the fast start and the jump start. So I think that's an awesome tool to give agents. And even though it's a webinar, you feel like you're in the classroom with her. She answers your questions, and she's a really good instructor.
Very good instructor, and we're very fortunate that we have some great instructors that are part of our company. I won't really steal her thunder, but I would just really encourage any agents, especially really not just agents who are newer, but for experienced agents too. There's a lot of material that she can cover that would be of great value to agents who are just looking to increase the amount of business that they're doing, especially with a lot of the newer tools that are out there. I know sometimes for experienced agents, they feel like they have a routine, they've been doing things one way that's been successful for them, and not to force change on anybody, but if you have an open mind to change and looking at new methods of prospecting and going about your business, might find some efficiencies there. So I would really encourage people to join in and listen, Patty, when you and Wendy get together, because there'll be a lot of good info there.
Thank you. Doug, you want to add anything to this?
Well, I'll just give you kind of my closing thought is that I was, as I explored the relationship, I decided that absolutely had the utmost of respect for all the Hannahs and everyone in the organization, but really got to a question in my mind, which was, what's the best thing for the agents, and that's when it just became so clear that the Howard Hanna organization, the people, the family element, and always focused on, what can we do, what can we add to put the agent in the best possible position to find their, the success levels that they choose. That's really where I was hands down. This is a brand for me and the people I want to be associated with, and it never stops. Tomorrow there's a great RIS media event going on all day, top speakers around the nation, and of course, Pat Riley from the organization and Helen herself are going to be speakers. And if anybody want to catch that, that's just it just goes on and on and on. It's like training access to better information every day.
Tom, do you have anything? before we say goodbye?
I just say thanks for having me. This was fun, and nice to see you here today, Patty and Doug, and I look forward to a great 2021.
I look forward to that too, and I look forward to maybe getting you back on, and we can just get into this a little bit more.
Sounds good to me.
Really.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you all.
Have a great day.
You too.